Welcome back, Algebros. In this video, I'm going to help you find the intercepts of the graph of the equations provided in parts A and B. And we're going to do that algebraically, so we will not involve the graphs. Rather, we'll just infer them from our by-hand work. Start with example part A. We got y equals 3x squared plus 8x minus 3. I'm going to go after any x-intercepts first. And by virtue of what was in our table from the last video, the way to do this is by replacing the variable y with 0. So we're going to change this y to 0, and it ends up giving us a quadratic equation that we'll have to solve. Now, since this quadratic expression on the right is set equal to 0 by virtue of our substitution, we might consider factoring it, and if it factors, we'll head down that route. It's the quickest way to solve for x for the quadratic equation. If it doesn't factor, then of course you can use the quadratic formula. But I'll let you know that this does factor as quantity 3x minus 1 times quantity x plus 3. In which case we'll set each factor equal to 0 by virtue of the zero product property. Solving for x in the first equation, we get x equals 1/3, and then in the second equation we get x equals -3. So it appears as though this graph would have two x-intercepts. These would be the values of the tick marks for those intercepts, and I would like to write these as ordered pairs. The first would be 1/3, 0, because we set y to 0, and then the other ordered pair would be -3, 0. Okay, both versions of the answer are acceptable to me, so whichever you prefer, I'll be good with as well. Now, for y-intercepts, the technique here is to change the other variable to 0, so we're going to set x equal to 0. So we'll go back up to our equation, and we're going to replace two x's with 0, and then figure out what to do afterwards. So we'll have y equals 3 times 0 squared plus 8 times 0 minus 3. And you actually don't solve an equation in a case like this. Rather, you just simplify according to the order of operations, and once you've simplified down to a single number, we get our y-intercept. And that single number that this all simplifies to is 3. So this graph appears to have one y-intercept, and it would be at the ordered pair 0, -3. And that's how we do it. In the next video, I'll solve part B. See you then.